Country Talk Radio. You're in to all things music.
My first record actually came out in 94, and there was still the talk of the Jesus a minute idea for songs that, you know, if you don't mention the name of God or Christ or Jesus once every 60 seconds in a song, it was not going to get airplay.
It's not Christian.
Welcome to Intersect Radio, where music, faith, and life converge. With your host, Aaron the A-Train Smith.
Welcome. That's my guest today, Mr. Nick Giaconia. And I'd like to welcome everybody to Intersect Radio. It's a very cold, rainy, gloomy day here in the Ville. And I am tucked away safely in my warm little man cave here and having a conversation with my buddy today, who I thought was going to drive over and hang with me, but due to family responsibilities, he had to stay home. But that's okay. I'll get him over here one day. So, folks, I would like for you to welcome, if you can, if you will, my guest today, Mr. Nick Giaconia, singer, songwriter, elder at church, and good friend. How you doing, baby?
Oh, you are so kind. I'm doing great, man. I'll tell you what, I was so psyched when you got your radio show to start with, because I just thought, you know, what a great fit for you that is. And I mean, your background in music, I mean, it certainly doesn't need my approval. Or my adulation, but I'll tell you what, to be asked by you to be on your show is just kind of really, really, it's off the charts for me. It's thrilling. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
I am so the least of these. So I just want people to know. People are probably thinking, Aaron, Nick, who? And that's okay. They'll learn a little bit about
Not after today, baby. Not after today.
Yeah.
No one will be asking that question ever again. So tell us, you know, where are you from, Nick? I met you here in Nashville.
Well, yes, we actually, to be honest with you, Aaron, you and I met on the road somewhere. I don't even know where. But not to correct the host right away, but I grew up on the east side of Cleveland in a little town called Kirtland, Ohio, and it's a small town, a community. I don't even know how many people, but it was a small high school. You know, the kind of thing where you pretty much know everybody, and it was. I had a great childhood as far as you know, being raised in a nice community, and I'm the product of you know, modern suburbia, so to speak.
Okay.
Cleveland gets a bad rap. Okay. Now. You know, now I know that you love Cleveland because you've got yourself in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame there. But
well, you know, they've moved that display up to New York.
Oh, they have.
It's
okay.
now. Yeah, it's now in the Drumstick Museum in Manhattan.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what happened to that arrangement, but the guy took the whole display out of the Hall of Fame.
Well, I go to New York all the time, so I'm going to have to go check that out.
Yeah.
Say that's my buddy Aaron. So
That's
I
right.
grew up in Kirtland, and was your typical jock, academic, teacher's pet kind of guy.
Really?
I was the president of my high school. Oh yeah. I was the president of my high school. Voted most likely to suck up, and but wrestled and ran cross country. Didn't wrestle all that much because I busted my arm up really bad, which is kind of a little bit of a segue. After I busted my arm, I couldn't wrestle anymore, so my parents bought me a guitar. So
Ooh.
that's how it all began. Yes.
Yeah. Man, do you know Gregory Porter? You know that name?
Greg, the last name again?
Porter. Porter. He's a singer. Very popular.
Okay.
Anyway, he was a football player, and he hurt his shoulder and couldn't play and started singing. So it's kind of like you hurting your shoulder and starting to play guitar, and and you found your way.
I did, and I find that having learned the skill of playing the guitar is probably something that is more valuable now that I'm an old man than having continued to wrestle for several more years.
Yeah. Because
I guarantee you this,
I couldn't see you
I wouldn't be wrestling right now.
I couldn't see you at WWFL or whatever it is, bouncing off the ropes.
Oh my goodness!
Jumping in the air.
That's not for me.
So how old were you when your wrestling career ended?
I was like right at 14 or 15 years old. So whatever a freshman in high school is, whatever that age is, I can never remember. But that's when I got, my parents were like, well, we'll get him a guitar for Christmas and kind of help him to forget that he can't wrestle anymore. Which to be honest with you, if the truth be told, and I am going to tell the truth, it really wasn't that big of a deal that I couldn't wrestle anymore, because wrestling, for those of you who have wrestled, is really hard. It's a difficult sport to take part in. And it's like one of those things where I go, oh, I can't wrestle anymore. Oh, darn.
What was your training
I'm really
regimen
broken
like?
up. Oh my goodness. You had to run the stairs of the high school, up and down the stairs, and then, time on the mat and drills and live wrestling. And I mean, it was, 2 hours every day of this very intense exercise. And along with the fact that you had to cut weight. So, in many sports, most sports, you kind of get that reward when you're done. You can go ahead and indulge in something, at least satisfy, your cravings. But not when you're wrestling and cutting weight.
Wow, didn't know that. I thought that was the whole
yes,
thing.
sir.
Getting strong, putting on muscle, eating, burning it off.
Well,
That's what I thought it was about.
I think that if you really got into the physics of it or the physiology of it, I should say, you're probably correct. But there's this weird philosophy of cutting weight when you're that age. Well, which I think is, I don't want to get down the road of wrestling philosophies, but I think could be dangerous for, a young man. So,
wow.
Anyway, so that's
so you can't wrestle. You're at home lamenting the passing of your wrestling career. Your parents get your guitar, and why did they just let's get him a guitar, or was there some sort of inclination or suggestion for a guitar before your wrestling career ended?
Ever since I was a little kid, and I mean like 5 years old, I wanted a guitar. Okay, I wanted to be able to play the guitar. Okay. I wanted a blue electric guitar. That was my thing,
Okay.
Now that's not what they got me, but that was I can still see it in my mind's eye, just exactly what it was that I wanted. And so I was always in the mode of, man, I really want to learn how to play the guitar. And that was kind of like second nature, kind of went without saying. So it was a surprise when they got it for me, but it wasn't right out of left field or something like that.
Okay. And how long did it take you to learn it? Was it a complete, did you dedicate part of your day to playing guitar or what? I stopped breathing and started playing the guitar. I mean, I just fell in love with everything about the instrument. I like the way they feel when you're holding them. I like the way they look. I like the way it presses against your body. I like the feeling on my fingers. I like everything aesthetically about a guitar. I love, and I think it's either weird or very normal. Okay, so I don't know how other guitar players feel, and let's not mislead anybody. I'm what's called a hack. Okay, I'm a acoustic guitar playing. I beat the guitar. I play a Fender Telecaster when I'm playing live, which is basically playing an acoustic guitar, especially the way I play. And well, I'm not a finesse guy at all. No one's gonna confuse me with Eric Clapton. So. Wow. So okay. So what about? Did you play in bands and stuff like that? When did the guitar leave the house and go and perform for the peoples?
Well, that's a great question, and I'll tell you, I've never been asked that question before. But the first thing that happened was there was a talent show at my high school that I entered with an original song, because as soon as I threw 3 chords together, I wrote a song. I mean, I was out of the box writing songs, and boy, I'm telling you, Aaron, these songs were horrible. They were the worst. They were.
I thought you were getting ready to tell me how great they were.
Oh, heaven's sake. No way. They were the worst thing in the world. But, when you're 16 and 17 years old and you go to your friends and you say, hey, I wrote this, and unfortunately they say, man, that's great. And it encourages you. And, so you go write another horrible song, and you don't have anybody telling you that you really, really suck bad. And
what were they about?
In fact, of course they were about love,
Oh, okay. All right.
Love lost. At 16, yeah. I mean, you've been through it all, haven't you?
Yeah, that's right.
So
heartbreak. everything. So you go to the talent show, and
I go to the talent show and I win.
Really?
I win. I won.
With
I won
an
the
original
talent
song?
show. With an original song.
Cool.
So yeah. So I was really stoked. But well, let me tell you something really weird that I'm sure is going to thrill your listeners. Something very weird happened. That was my very first live performance. Okay. And as I started to play, I felt something on the top of my head, like almost as if a spider had descended from the ceiling and landed right on the top of my skull. And then it moved around. And it felt like more of these things were moving. And what I quickly recognized was that it was perspiration. And then I started to perspire profusely to the point where I looked like I had come in out of the rain. It was embarrassing. And it happened. It still happens today. Every time I play, I sweat like a madman. But the only difference is that now I embrace it.
Okay.
I was doing a show one time and I was sweating up there and I got off stage and the drummer from this band said, "Man, how do you do that?" I said, "How do I do what?" He said, "How do you sweat like that? That is so cool. That's so rock and roll." And I said, "Well, man, I'm glad you like it. I hate it, but so now I just bring a towel with me."
Oh man. Well, hey, we're gonna finish this conversation at that point right after this break here we're getting ready to take. And folks, hang in there. We'll be right back. I want to tell you all that there's a great contest going on at intertalkradio.com/contest. It's the 2018 NAMM celebration. Boy, they're giving away a lot of stuff, a lot of gear. Pedals, amps, plugins, cymbals, all sorts of stuff. So go there, folks, register, and the best of luck to you. We'll be back in a flash.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
Welcome to Intersect Radio, where music, faith, and life converge. With your host, Aaron the A-Train Smith.
That's my guest today, Mr. Nick Giaconia, singer, songwriter, elder, and friend. Welcome back, folks. Today's Intersect Radio show. That's what?
The best part of that is friend. That's what I say.
Cool. That's what I say. I'm right with you. I'm right with you. But you know, you won a talent show writing songs. So you know,
I did. I won 2 talent shows.
Oh no!
Can you believe
2?
it? Yep.
Wow.
2 whole talent shows. Yes, sir, Bob.
Yeah, you were killing it.
I was I was on fire.
Was it just you and your guitar?
Oh yeah. And then okay. You know, I finally had someone say to me, you know, your songs are really, really bad. And
who said that?
This guy that was actually knew what he was talking about. And I'm glad he told me that. He introduced me to a book called The Craft of Lyric Writing by Sheila Davis. Mm-hmm. And I recommend that book for anyone who wants to write a song. But he was right. He was right. And in fact, he even said that one of my songs was borderline racism because it was called "Are You Living as a White Knight?" And he said that it could be construed as racist. And I said, "Oh my gosh, I would never want to do that." He said, "Yeah, well, you know, you got to think of these things." And that was a really bad song too, just for the record.
Audience. Ah, man, that's cool. And who wrote that book, The Craft of Songwriting?
Sheila Davis. Sheila Davis. Yes, I highly recommend it. All
right, just in case
I'll
we
give
get
her a little plug. Yeah.
Yeah, we might have some aspiring songwriters out there today or sometime. That's great. So, your last talent show you win, where are you in high school? Senior, junior?
Senior. And you know, like I said, writing bad songs and getting away to college and moving along, and setting up in the college student union, uninvited, I might add, and would sing every Friday and Saturday night. And, I would just set up and sing, and you know, and I just had this deep desire to share my music with whoever was willing to listen. So.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So, were you raised like a Christian?
I was raised in the Roman Catholic faith.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Was that yes. part of your any evidence of your faith in your songwriting at the time?
None whatsoever.
Okay.
None whatsoever.
So you never played at mass or anything like that when you were a kid?
I played in mass, but we would play the responses and things like that, and basically the hymns that were, kind of told, here we want you to sing this hymn. In the Catholic Church, I don't know if they still do this, but a really cool thing was they had the guitar mass. It was a special mass that you could either opt in or opt out of, depending on your desires for music in church. And guitar mass was always really special in our church because it came around, once every month or so. And it's funny because that was an outlet, for me, and I didn't realize it. I didn't realize how much that actually meant, because it was anytime you get up in front of people and do your thing, you're honing, and even guitar mass, it counted.
Yep. Yep. So what college did you attend?
I went to Malone University in Canton, Ohio. It's a very small college. It's a Christian university, a conservative Christian college.
How did you happen to go there?
Just one of those things, almost laziness, and luck. My good friend from high school was there on a running scholarship. He was a cross country runner. And he introduced me to the college, and then I went there and received a performing arts scholarship. So it was
okay.
kind of like, well, it's kind of the path of least resistance. And, if someone's going to pay for you to go to college, it kind of narrows down your selection process.
Mm-hmm. And you were about to say they follow the teaching of what? Of who?
Oh, the Evangelical Friends, which is
the Friends.
The Quaker movement. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a friend who was raised in the Friends.
In the Friends. Okay.
What shall we call it?
Not a huge denomination, but
denomination.
a strong evangelical based denomination nonetheless.
Mm-hmm. So, how did the Protestant thing come about from Catholicism? Did it happen there?
Well, basically, yes, absolutely, it did. The professor of theater who was there, who became basically my spiritual mentor, basically told me about Christ and who he was and what he did, and I had no idea, even though I was raised.
You had never heard that before, huh?
Really didn't.
Okay.
And so I listened to what he had to say, and kind of slowly and gradually made a decision that this is what I wanted to do. It was not dramatic by any means. I don't have a very interesting conversion story, which in my personal opinion, I think is actually a good thing. At least for me, it's a good thing.
Okay.
And so I had a very quiet conversion experience on a very cold winter day in Canton, Ohio in 1983.
What were you doing at the time?
Well, I wasn't burning albums at a bonfire. I will tell you that. I was simply walking across campus and was considering what this guy had told me and had been telling me. And I said, okay, I think that's what I'm going to do. So that was it.
Wow.
Yeah. Like I said,
no lightning bolts, huh? Yeah.
No lightning bolts. No.
No big snowball from the sky or anything like that. Well, that's great. So how did life go from there? I guess when did that enter your songwriting?
Very, very slowly, because I was really reluctant to want to take that course. I felt that, there's a part of me, and I don't want to offend anybody, but I think I was right way back in 1983, not wanting to go into the Christian music marketplace, which is where I started out. And, I don't want to say ended up, but because I didn't end there. But there was something that Aaron, I can't really put it into words as best as an orator should. I just didn't want to be in Christian music. And I wrote very few songs that could actually be played on Christian radio, which is kind of a problem when you find yourself in the Christian music market.
Especially back then. Might not be so hard now.
No, I think it would be easier now. So my record, my first record actually came out in 94, and there was still the talk of the Jesus a Minute idea for songs that, if you don't mention the name of God or Christ or Jesus once every 60 seconds in a song, it was not going to get airplay.
It's not Christian.
Right. It wasn't Christian. And
so tell us, how did you go from being in college, converting to Christianity, to Protestantism, and writing songs and getting a record deal?
Well, there is another band that saw far more success than I did, that also went to Malone University, and they're called Over the Rhine. Are you familiar with Over the Rhine?
Okay. Oh, yeah.
So Linford and Karen and Rich are all friends of mine, and because we were, it's a small campus, like I said, everybody knew everybody. And then musicians were even, a tighter knit group. They were developing Over the Rhine, and I was off doing my thing when I got together and we decided to do, back then, a demo tape was the course of action. Let me tell you something, little kids. Back in the olden days,
right.
You made a 3-song demo tape, so we worked on that, and I worked on that with them. So they were a huge influence on the sound that I came up with, and then they had already had this great following among the alt Christian kind of Christian, non-Christian crowd. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Over the Rhine would play Cornerstone every year, even though they were never identified as a Christian band.
Okay.
So I developed this demo tape with the help of Rich and Linford, and then went on to perform at Cornerstone, and it was at Cornerstone that the folks from REX approached me and wanted to do a record on their little imprint called Storyville. So That's how that materialized.
Okay, and where are you in your college career at this time?
Oh, so we're out of college now.
Oh, you're out of college now.
We're out of college already. Yeah.
Are you still in Ohio?
Still in Ohio. Mm-hmm. Living in Columbus, Ohio. Working as in the business world and trying to be a musician, which is really a bad idea.
Yeah. I did that once.
Because did you? Yeah, I'm sure it didn't work out well.
No. They would never let me forget that I was a musician.
Yes. Yes.
And that's fine, But
absolutely.
So you get this demo tape, you go to Cornerstone, you meet the people from REX, and they say, come to Nashville and let's talk.
Right. So they were in Chicago at the time. They were moving. So I actually went to Chicago and talked.
Okay.
And then they moved to Nashville. And we did this record called Center of the Earth. And I like to say that it was designed to fail. Okay. And that's not an indictment against anyone who was part of the record or the record making process or the marketing, and I'm not pointing fingers at anybody. I'm simply saying that if you're going to be in Christian music, then for crying out loud, write Christian songs, And what we were doing was we were saying we're gonna exist in the contemporary Christian music world, but we're not gonna write Christian songs. We're gonna do it with songs that are not overtly dispassionate about faith. Just not every song is about Jesus. And
a lot of double entendre.
Yeah, I would say so. In some cases, and in other cases, just like the title track, "Center of the Earth," is just kind of a song where you get done with it and you go, "Okay, I have no idea what that song is about," and that's kind of why I wrote it. And it has no double meaning. So
okay. Hold on a minute, and we got to take another commercial break there. We're going to talk about that song when we come back. Folks, you're listening to my friend, Mr. Nick Giaconia. Once again, we got a big contest going on, a lot of gear being given away. Go to intertalkradio.com/contest. Get your name in there. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear, host of Sound Experience here on Intertalk Radio. And Source Connect by Source Element is the essential tool that we use to link between my studio in Austin, Texas and the WS radio station in San Diego. Now with Source Connect, not only can we communicate in real time and with HD audio, but it's synced up and is of a high enough quality that I can use it for real-time ADR work, remote recording and overdubbing, and it even allows me to remotely control a DAW. Source Connect by Source Element. Affordable, high-quality audio and video connection over the internet for all of your production needs.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on intertalkradio.com.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Welcome to Intersect Radio, where music, faith, and life converge. With your host, Aaron the A-Train Smith.
I need someone to hold me till my journey's done. Will somebody hold me till my journey's done? Will you hold my hand as I go under? Will you hold my hand as my ship goes down? I pray to the heavens. I swear to
Okay, we're back, folks, with my guest, Mr. Nick Giaconia. And before we left, I had asked Nick about his lyrics once he became a Christian songwriter. If they were like double entendre or very direct statements or what?
Yeah, so Center of the Earth is not a double entendre at all. Although people try to find some kind of meaning in there. It's about a guy that goes takes his vacation to the center of the earth and meets Elvis and they sit around and they play songs and there's really not much else to it. Really? It's just kind of a catchy little quirky little fun song, and it has no meaning whatsoever. So, that's what we did, and we delivered that to REX, and REX said, okay, what are we going to do with this? And, they, to their credit, they did their best with what they were given. But it didn't survive the masses. So.
Well, tell us about your experience at REX.
Well, that's the can of worms right there. REX was operated very poorly in a financial management perspective. I'm not going to go down the road of making accusations that can possibly get myself into legal trouble, but the accounting was let's say it was interesting the way they calculated their money, and unfortunately it wasn't enough money that any worthwhile lawyer would touch, because I didn't sell that many records to really make it worth any lawyer's time to actually go after them. And then we were recording my second record, and we got a phone call at the studio, and they said, this is so-and-so over at the record label. We need you to shut down what you're doing because we're closing our doors. And I said, you're what? And I had already paid for the record. Okay. So I paid
out of your own pocket
to record, out of my own pocket to record this second record. And they shut down. Now, the owner of REX, and I don't want to say he took that money from REX, but he got money from somewhere, and he opened an establishment in downtown Nashville called Menages. And Menages is a place where people go to have sex parties. And I don't want to make anybody blush or embarrass anybody or have anybody go into heart palpitations, but this kind of thing happens. And
so was REX known as a Christian label?
As far as I knew, they certainly were.
Okay. So everybody else.
Go ahead.
So everybody else in the label was like a Christian artist and had tunes on Christian radio.
Absolutely.
Okay. Wow.
So, yeah, it's really shocking to say, you go from, how do you go from making Christian music to doing something that's just so far off the charts on the disgust level,
Yeah.
So that happened, and listeners might say, "Wow, that guy's bitter." Well, to a certain extent, they would be right. That it's something that if you allow it, it could make you bitter. Because here I am. I was just this wide-eyed young guy that thought, we were all the Christian musicians got together on Sunday. They went to the same church and held hands and sang Kumbaya together, and nothing could be further from the truth. I mean, there was no fraternity of Christian musicians in Nashville. Now, I have a lot of friends in the Christian music business, but there were plenty of things that went on that were underhanded, and that was my experience. That's what happened to me. And by the way, anybody else who was signed to REX at the time, it happened to them too. So let's not forget my brothers and sisters who were equally hurt by that experience.
Screwed.
So, yeah, big time. Am I allowed to say screwed on your radio show?
Yeah, we could say screwed, yes. So did you go on the road at all and tour or anything like that?
Tours were hard to come by. I did tour, with what I could get my hands on. I was booked by Holly Benuski at Street Level. I don't know if you know Holly or not, but she was a great.
She booked Rich Mullins.
Well, she booked Rich. That's right. Okay. Yeah. So she helped out. I wasn't big enough to have a tour, but I had a lot of like week-long deals, and then no more, all gone.
A lot of week-long deals.
Yeah, that was my big tour. I'm out for a whole week.
Dude, did you have a band, or were you just going out as a solo artist?
Man, I went out and I just did things solo, and it was very comfortable. It was very comfortable because I could go and make a small honorarium, sell some records, and sell some T-shirts, and I was good. I was.
So what happened? What happened to your second record?
So the second record got picked up by this little mainstream record label called Kitty on the Ceiling Records that immediately went out of business. No colorful stories to go along with that. They just ran out of money, and that record just died. So now here's the cool thing about that is that at that time I had strong management. I had both William Morris and Creative Artist Agency looking at me, and there was a whisper of a big 60 city tour with REO Speedwagon.
Really?
And yeah. And then 9/11 hit, and that just crumbled everything that I was working on. I mean, I know I don't want to compare what I went through with losing my career to what happened to so many people on 9/11. But it really wiped out my career at that point, because I was first of all, I was getting too old. I was closing in on my 40s, and no one wants to see an old man rock and roll. Sorry. So.
Oh boy, 40 years old. That's right, 40 years old, huh?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if for a rock and roller, it's just starting out, it would be a little too old. Yeah.
Yeah. At that time, 40 wasn't the new 20.
Right. No, 40 was it was the old 50.
Right. So okay, 9/11, the plane hits your career.
Yeah.
What do you do? What did you do after that?
So I was a waiter for so many years. And by the way, Aaron, I was a good waiter. Okay. And I got into medical sales. And then I went from one medical sales job and parlayed into another medical sales job. And then started a company with my brother and my father where we make vitamins for patients that have weight loss surgery. So those patients need to be on a very strict regimen of vitamins and minerals, and we make those. It's called Celebrate Vitamins. I'll plug my company there for a second.
Okay.
And that's what I do. I'm the vice president of sales, and I'm on the road a lot. I'm on the road far more for selling vitamins than I ever was for music. That's for sure.
Oh, man, that's great. So,
it's been we're the company's 10 years old, and we have done very, very well. We've exceeded all expectations.
And it's still just the three of you?
Oh no. First of all, my dad, he's 86 or 87, and all he does is count his money. And we have, I believe we have 25 full-time employees now.
Oh, great.
So
all in Ohio?
Yes. No, I've got some folks across the country who sell, and we take advantage of home offices for that type of thing. And then our headquarters is in Ohio.
Okay. Cool.
A little town called Wadsworth, Ohio.
Wadsworth.
Wow.
You have a thing for little Ohio towns.
Well, there's a lot of little Ohio towns.
Chrissy Hine made it sound like there were no little towns in Ohio. You remember that song she did, Ohio?
Yeah,
I love that. Was she
singing about Akron? I do too.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so Akron is very close to Wadsworth.
Okay.
We
went to my wife and I went to Columbus last year. Man, we had a great time in Columbus. It seemed like a small town. It seemed like a small kind of city,
I lived there. I lived in Columbus for 13 years. Okay. And I like to say that Columbus was a small town with a lot of people.
Yeah.
That was my identification of Columbus.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know you're still playing because you play at church regularly, and you play for the kids. Are you still playing for the kids' Sunday school?
You know what they've done, and I'm not complaining about this, but this will tell you just how expendable we are as musicians. They play a tape now.
Get out.
They just play a tape, and it's okay because actually playing for the kids is a rough gig. I've got to tell you,
a tough audience.
That is a tough Sunday morning. Are you kidding me? No, thank you. But no, I play in church, and every now and then I'll put the band back together and do a show and play at Third and Lindsley or something like that, and you know, just rock and we'll just do some old fashioned rock and roll for a night.
Cool. Well, you know, you got to invite me to one of those things.
Oh, you better believe I will. Are you kidding me?
I love to rock and roll with you. That would be cool. I didn't know you were still doing that. I had no idea. You don't advertise too much.
Not very often. To be honest with you, it's just you know. By the time you figure out a free date and you get everybody together, you know. And when I play now, I play with a band. So
cool.
You know, by the time you assemble a band and you get everybody together and you rehearse for a couple hours and then you do the show and then you know it's way past your bedtime.
That's right.
You start to think, man, I'm way too old for this.
Well, hey Nick, I want to thank you for coming on today, man. Yeah, that's our music.
Okay.
It goes by fast, you know.
It does.
Thank you for coming on, and it's been great talking to you and sharing the story with the audience here. And folks, we'll be back next Tuesday.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear from Eclectica Studios. I'm a full-time mixing and recording engineer. I work with Grammy winners, labels, and indie artists, using state-of-the-art digital mixing and restoration tools and the very best in analog gear. Really, though, it's my ability to bring tracks to life and fulfill your vision for your music. This has made me sought after by producers and artists worldwide. So spend your time working on music and not chasing a mix down a rabbit hole. Go to timdolbear.com and check out our free one-song mix offer.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.